53 years. That's how long New York waited for one moment. And on June 14, 2026, the moment finally arrived. The Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs in Game 5, closing out the NBA Finals 4-1. For the first time since 1973, New York is again the home of an NBA champion. But this story isn't just about a drought ending. It's about what that drought meant and what the NBA feared would happen if it ever did end. Let's go back to where the fear started. The Knicks' championship drought wasn't just long, it was legendary. 53 years of near misses, heartbreaks, and mediocrity. The franchise that once ruled basketball in the 1970s had become a punchline. From the Patrick Ewing era to the Carmelo Anthony years, the Knicks always found a way to lose. By the 2020s, the joke was old, and the NBA quietly liked it that way. Why? Because a starving Knicks fan base is a hungry market. Madison Square Garden is the mecca, but it's also the most profitable arena in the league. When the Knicks lose, the ratings don't drop, people still watch, hoping for a win. But when the Knicks win, the city explodes. And that explosion is exactly what the league feared. Because a championship Knicks team doesn't just dominate headlines, it dominates the culture. It pulls focus from every other market. And that imbalance scares the NBA's power brokers. But the 2026 Knicks didn't care about league politics. They had a mission. Let's rewind to the start of that season. The Knicks had been building for years, slowly assembling a core. Jalen Brunson, the unheralded point guard from Villanova, was the engine. After leaving Dallas in 2022, he became the leader New York had been searching for. But in 2026, he wasn't alone. The roster was deep, balanced, and hungry. They cruised through the regular season, earning the top seed in the East. But the playoffs were a different beast. Round 1, a tough series against the Miami Heat. Round 2, a gritty battle with the Boston Celtics. The conference finals, a 7-game war against the Milwaukee Bucks. Each series stripped away the Knicks' weaknesses and forged their identity. By the time they reached the finals, they were battle-tested. Their opponent, the San Antonio Spurs, a dynasty in the making, the Spurs had Victor Wembanyama, the alien-like rookie who was already a superstar. But the Knicks had something more, a city's worth of desperation. Game 1 at Madison Square Garden set the tone. The Knicks stole home court with a gritty win. Game 2 was a blowout. Spurs tied the series. Then came Game 3 in San Antonio, a defensive masterclass by New York. They took a 2-1 lead and never looked back. Game 4 was a statement. The Knicks dominated the fourth quarter, winning by 12. And then came Game 5. Back at the Garden, the crowd was electric. The city held its breath. For 3 quarters, the game was tight. Neither team could pull away. But then the fourth quarter happened. Jalen Brunson took over. He scored 15 points in the final period, hitting dagger after dagger. With 2 minutes left, he drove past Wembanyama and finished a circus layup. The Garden erupted. When the final buzzer sounded, the Knicks had won 112-106. Brunson dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. 53 years of pain dissolved in that moment. The city of New York exploded in celebration. Fans flooded the streets, honking horns and chanting, "Knicks." It was the biggest sports party the city had seen in decades. But back in the NBA offices, the reaction was different. Some executives reportedly dreaded this outcome, not because they hated the Knicks, but because they knew what would follow. A New York title changes the league's center of gravity. Suddenly, every free agent wants to play there. Every storyline revolves around the Garden. The league's carefully balanced ecosystem tilts hard toward one team. And that's what the NBA feared most, a super team in New York. Not a super team built through collusion, but one built by a championship. Because now every player dreams of playing for the Knicks. And the 2026 title is just the beginning. The Knicks have a young core, a winning culture, and the biggest market in the world. They could dominate for years. And that dominance might reshape the NBA in ways the league didn't want. But let's be honest, for the fans, this was destiny. For the fans who waited 53 years, this was redemption. And for the city that never sleeps, this was a revival. The Knicks are back on top. And the NBA will have to deal with it. Because once the sleeping giant wakes up, it doesn't go back to sleep. The 2026 title was historic, but it might just be a preview. New York is hungry again, and it's not going anywhere. The drought is over, but the dynasty? That might have just begun. And that is exactly what the NBA feared the most.